So Kierstarmer, the UK's favourite comedian.
Get out of my pub! Go on! Get out of my pub!
Politician, our Prime Minister, has set new crazy ambition for us to build 1.5 million new homes over the next 5 years. Now, the reason I call him a comedian is I've tried my hand at stand-up comedy once, and I didn't get booed off the stage, but the audience weren't laughing at my jokes, they were laughing at me. Keirstarmer seems to believe that if he gets up on stage, holds his microphone, clears his throat, and says astronomically ridiculous things such as,
"It's time to build 1.5 million new homes across the country."
We are going to build 1.5 million properties in the UK over the next 5 years, even though we've never hit our housing target. He assumes he's going to get wolf whistles and claps from the audience. No, sir, we are laughing at you. So let's discuss this. Is there a chance that the UK can build 1.5 million properties over the next 5 years? Of course not. I'm willing to stake or bet my 1,800 YouTube subscribers on it. That's so embarrassing. Guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let's talk about this.
Let's talk about why the UK government will never be able to hit their goal to build 1.5 million houses over the next 5 years. The government have these grand ambitions. Government and the local councils fail to connect. There's a disconnect. The government say we want to build X amount of homes, but it's the local councils, the local planning that have to approve these plans and these ambitious goals. The planning process is awful. Planning approval for larger developers and developments can take up to 2 years. Just to get approval. Then you actually need to build these homes, which can take another 2 or 3 years. So if Kierstarmer wants us to build 1.5 million properties in the next 5 years, well, the first thing we need to address is the speed of planning, because it's damn sure we're not going to hit those targets. The truth is, the country is very much reliant on private developers and private companies to build these houses. Yet they are hit with increase in regulation, red tape, cost, bureaucracy. Developers who are trying to hit those targets and build more homes and put more houses on the market have to jump through hoops. The money doesn't grow on trees. A developer has to borrow money to build. If a development is going to cost 10 million to build, a developer has to borrow that money. If they have to borrow the money to buy the land, then they start paying back the interest even before planning has been granted. So a developer might have to hold finance costs for up to 5 years while they wait for the house to be built. And many people don't understand why developers charge a premium. It's because of this. It's because there is a cost to buying and holding the land and building it. So until we change that around and we give quicker permission or quicker approvals, then it means developers don't need to pass on the cost of finance and the cost of holding land and the cost of building to buyers. If you want to hit the target of 1.5 million homes, then the government needs to incentivize developers. Now, most people will not get on board with that idea because they already naturally think developers are these rich billionaires and they don't need more incentives. But if you want to hit the target because you want to help more people own property and get on the property ladder, what is the incentive for a developer to risk capital? These are the conversations we should be having. How are you going to incentivize developers not to pass on these massive costs to the end buyer? Because it's not a charity. Now, I propose some tax breaks. I'm a developer. I'm currently building 2 houses. If I've got to take into consideration the time it's taken to build, the cost it's taken to build, the finance it's taken to build, and I'm not doing it as a charity but as a small developer who's risking capital, who's taking a risk, I have to be rewarded financially. And the only way for me to be rewarded financially is to pass on the cost to the buyer, which means I've got to charge a premium in order to justify my return on investment. However, if the government came to me and they said, you have spent X amount on buying this and building this, rather than selling it for £400,000, would you sell it for £350,000? But over the next few years, we will look at some tax breaks. Over the next few years, if you're planning on building other properties, there might be grants available or support available. There's got to be a trade-off if you want me or you want developers to do your work for you. We haven't spoken about the corruption that goes on in planning departments across the country. You might want to Google what's going on in Leeds, where members of the planning department have been arrested due to corruption charges. So in some cases, not specifically Leeds, but in some cases, planning departments are taking money from developers and granting their applications, and in some cases, denying applications for other developers who might be in competition with someone who's lying in the planning department's pocket. Real gangster stuff. I can imagine head of planning receiving a little Rolex in order to deny an application or grant an application. Google it. In the first half of just 2024, under 80,000 homes were completed. Even worse, only 50,000 new builds were even started. 70% of the new builds that were started in the first half of the year were by private companies and private enterprises. On average, if we look at a span over the last 10 years, England has built around 140,000 homes a year. Far cry from the 300,000 we've been screaming for the last few years. A far cry from the 1.5 million that our dear government is suggesting we're going to be able to build. So based on 140,000 homes being built on average across a 10-year span, even if we doubled that, took it to 250,000, it will still take us well over 5 years to hit this extremely ambitious and impossible task. We haven't even spoken about construction workers, the shortage of labor. After Brexit, we lost thousands of builders, thousands of construction workers. So it means there has to be an investment into the construction industry to train up new builders. And that takes years, that takes money. The government are just throwing out numbers to make you feel as if the government cares, as if Keirstarmer is trying, as if Labour has your back. But in reality, it's just words. According to the BBC, local councils in England would have to see at least a 5-fold increase in new housing to meet the government's targets. Let me show you how ridiculous this is. If we look at some local councils, let's look at what they've delivered on average per year versus the new target. So just Kensington and Chelsea have delivered 236 houses per year on average. Their new target is 5,100. Come on. Richmond upon Thames delivered 154 properties. Their new target is 2,513. Bromley, 229. Their new target is 3,100. Look, it's ridiculous. Hastings, they delivered 142. Their new target is 710. A bit more realistic. Lambeth, their previous is 485. Their new target is 3,300. The government have barely touched 250,000 homes per year. How on earth do you assume or pretend that you're going to hit 1.5? Even councils that have to make these planning decisions and approvals have expressed concern about how unrealistic the people that have to press the button to approve or decline have said, Kierstarmer, this is unrealistic. Elizabeth Campbell, the leader of Kensington and Chelsea, it is out of touch to let algorithms set targets without understanding local context. She said, you only have to walk through the streets to our densely built borough to see how unachievable it would be to build 5,107 homes a year here. This borough is only 4.5 miles squared. Darren Sanders, Cabinet Minister for Housing in Portsmouth City Council, said the target doesn't work because most of the city is an island with a dense population and an important heritage and natural assets. Kierstarmer's just pulling figures out of his hat. Yeah, even the construction industry has warned that they're dealing with a chronic shortage of labourers. The Construction Industry Training Board, they need to attract at least 50,000 extra workers per year to meet this target. And many experts like myself, who was recently on BBC having this conversation, are willing to bet that we cannot hit these targets. But yet our government, who have no idea about hitting targets, have created more targets based on an algorithm. Hey guys, if you get any value from this video, make sure you like, comment and subscribe. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think our government are being super ambitious or just extremely naive? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below.